sleep for too long. Dreaming and meeting the girl of my dreams, and she need to be said like I'm up and down here. I'm awake, yeah. Hop in the wheel, babe. Hop in the zippo. I can be everything that you never knew you needed. I'll never mistreat you. I just don't know how to reach you. Back to the drawing board. I hit the road alone. I got no home to go to. I hit your town, I roll through. You got a man, I know you. You playing games, you old school. You are the peach, I'm the toadstool. Rolling, rolling, rolling on
Yeah.
Feels just like my favorite song. Keep playing on. I was a rolling stone. You changed the lock on the door. That was so long ago. How can you say that I ain't paid forward? Life is a roller coaster. Blinking, it's almost over. Fade in the black, hop in the back. I'll take the wheel, I'll show you. Baby, I need.
Yo, what's going on, my people? You know who it is. It's your boy, Prophet Pete. And I'm here with a special edition of Prophet Radio on Tuesday at 8 p.m. So for those of you that don't know, now you know. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And make sure you catch that replay on the YouTube channel, on the website, and all that wonderful stuff. But I'm about to bring in my special guest, my man Hunter XO.
That was so long ago. How can you say that I ain't paid forward? Life is a roller coaster. Blinking, it's almost over. Fade in the black, hop in the back. I'll take the wheel, I'll show you. Baby, I need you. Pop in the pill, I pray for amnesia. I can't deceive you, really a fool. I'm really this eager. I know you ain't mean it, living without you, falling to pieces. Sipping this liquor, smoking this zip, but liver's depleted. Guess I don't need it. Whoa. Rolling, rolling, rolling on Feels just like my favorite
Yo, what's going on, Hunter? How you doing, my brother?
I am doing absolutely great today. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Hanging in there, trying to stay cool, like, cause it's summertime and it's hot outside.
I live up here in Northwest Canada, and it's even hot up here right now, like blazing hot. We're hitting the 90s.
Yeah. Now, is Canada's heat like New York heat?
Um, I mean, yeah, it kind of does feel like that, right? Where there's really intense winters, but they're kind of brief, and then the heat comes in, and it's just really heavy, right? And it just almost kind of hits you in a matter of a few days, and you're like, "Whoa, where did spring go?"
Well, I think this year has been a very crazy year, even for the weather, and it's like we kind of skipped the whole season. But hey, you got to roll with the punches, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. It has been a bit of a weird year, but with weirdness can come creativity and optimism.
You are absolutely correct because when it comes to, and I think when it comes to the chaos and everything and whatever's going on, I think artists are at their most creative because there's just so many things going on at one time that artists tend to want to focus and talk about what's going on in their way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think being able to see what's going on in the world, especially in lockdown, and you only have time to really reflect on it with yourself and the people around you. And I think that that's a really powerful thing. It's giving artists different capabilities to express themselves in ways that they didn't realize they could before. And I think that's a really unique outcome for a crazy situation.
Yeah, and being on lockdown, I think not for nothing. I know everything is, things are a little bit, up in the air with all the stuff that's going on. But the lockdown, I think, gave a lot of artists time to really find themselves. So how have you been yourself been dealing with your creativity in this confinement that we're all under?
That's a great question. I've definitely gone through stages. Um, I think early on, a lot of people were really afraid, and I think there is still a little bit of fear of the unknown in the situation. But I think at the very beginning, it was very intense. There was a lot of emotion going around, and I think originally in my creative process when the lockdown began, that gave me the ability to create a lot of intense music, and then as the lockdown progressed, it also gave me the mindset that there is an end to this road, and it gives you the ability to create really powerful, great music that way, really vibrant music and really happy music that can also express that. So I think it created a great duality, if anything, for me personally, where it really allowed me to kind of tackle both sides of my own psyche.
Mm. So I would say that you use your music for therapeutic reasons as well.
Oh, absolutely. And I've always kind of directed myself towards that. Before I was professionally involved in the music industry, here in Canada, I was involved in the formation and the growing industry of medical cannabis and things like that. So I've always been a massive proponent of really natural ways of healing. And I think music is just a beautiful natural way of healing, a natural way of expressing emotions, and also a natural way of reflecting on yourself.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Because it's like before you start listening, well, first you begin listening to music, and the music you listen to when you're younger, before you decided to become an artist, there was a lot of things that you gravitated to depending on your mood to get you through a lot of things. And it's just now it's trust and believe. Music has gotten me through some rough times. So I think I've listened to a lot more variety of music during this time than I've ever have in my whole entire life.
That's actually a really powerful thing to say, a really strong message to say, because I think many people are resonating with that. I resonate with that a huge amount. I've gotten to experience all sorts of genres of music, and I've really taken a dive into looking into a lot of the foreign underground scenes of music over this time, because I've had a lot of time to do research, and I think because of that, my personal growth is expanding massively. And in the future, I get excited about concepts like creating foreign projects and things like that, because I think there's a lot of beauty out there to be had, and I think the mix of the internet and then giving us time to have to sit down and reflect alone has, at least for me, allowed me to see the beauty all over the world, and that it can we can definitely encompass these things and really pull things together and create some really great new sounds, new visuals, and new culture statements.
Yeah, it's one thing I have learned in this time again with listening to um different genres of music. We're doing research with music overseas and the influences and just how everything is vibing, because it's like at this point in time the the whole entire world is going through something together. And it just amazed me on the stuff that I heard overseas. And I think that was a great move on your behalf to start looking in that direction and pushing your stuff that way. And it's amazing what you would find out there.
Oh, it's incredible. I think another thing that the lockdown's really shown is that at the end of the day, we really are all humans, and we all will react the same to these traumatic situations, whether it's a little bit different and things like that. We're all still connected. We're all still people, no matter where we're from. Um, and I think that's probably one of the greatest outcomes I think out of this tragic situation that's occurred.
Yeah. So, with your music, how would you actually categorize yourself, if you categorize yourself in a genre?
Hmm. Well, I think the way you worded that is actually really, really great. I don't, I do want to categorize myself. When I do categorize myself, I like to call myself alternative or vibe hip hop or just chill hip hop. Um, but I also do want to continue to broaden everything that I can do. So I don't necessarily want to finite myself to one genre and stick to one specific sound in my career. I really want to be able to experiment, and I really want to show different versatilities and things like that.
And I think the best thing to do, especially in this day and age, which that's a smart decision, great decision on your behalf, to be able to be flexible with what you're doing and not be not kind of just isolate yourself to one type of category, because there's so many ways to reach so many people by just adjusting a little. And I think that what makes music so great is the blending of genres in one song with different styles and beats and deliveries. I think that's some of the most amazing things I've ever heard in my lifetime.
Hmm. Yeah, sampling is one of the most beautiful things I think that's come out of music in the last, like, the technological era of music, I think, because it's allowing all these different genres and all these different producers, artists to really get a great feel for all sorts of different things. And I think as technology continues to progress in the music industry, I think that's really where we're headed, is a lot of blending of old genres and creating these new modern genres that are going to hopefully define music for a little bit of time, and continue the progression of it.
And I think for music itself, for a long time it was I want to say it was kind of getting stale, just a little bit, because there was nothing new, there was no evolution within what was going on. And where you have your alternative rap, you have your chop and screw type of hip hop, your boom bap hip hop, and things like that. Now, the culture, in a way, didn't want the evolution to happen, but now that it's here, I think it's wonderful because you get a different taste of so much more.
Right. And I think that just comes down to, like, the term growing pains, right? Like, there's always going to be growing pains, right? So it's always going to be there. And yeah, no, I think you nailed it right there when you said that. I think we really are in that position right now where the industry is in a transitional period. And that transitional period is showing already a lot of really, really, really beautiful work. So I'm super excited for the future of the music industry over this next several years and decades. And I think it's a really great thing that there's a new collaborative concept and community involved in the music industry. Like, I think the emphasis on collaboration and experimentation has definitely picked up for sure.
Now, I have this question for you, right? Now, this question is very important because I think it's like one of those $1 million questions, and I think if you give the right answer, you might help a lot of people out there. But what have you done with the way technology has changed to be able to promote your career and have that unlimited reach that
Mm.
we had the limitations on prior to this technology boom?
Excellent question. For me personally, it's the ability to be able to directly connect with your fans on a much more individual level, and that I think is an incredibly powerful thing. You can go out there onto the internet now, and by using your social medias, you are now showing your fans parts of your life, and it really becomes a connective thing. You're able to talk to all sorts of these people. And I also think another really powerful and beautiful thing that's come from the technology in the music industry is I think that it's allowed the broadening. So I don't think that people should finite themselves. I think that a really great thing to do is really kind of throw yourself out there, do what you're doing, and then just organic networking and talking to people is still, I mean, it always has been the greatest way of marketing, organic and just word of mouth and things like that, even for businesses. And I think the music industry and the internet with it has allowed for like a new renaissance of organic marketing where you can now, instead of just handing out CDs on a street corner, you're now talking to people all over the world that you wouldn't have had the impact to be able to reach at first. Those are my first and foremost things. But I think another thing that's really cool is the mix with music and video games in the future here. And I think that's something that's going to continue to be really impactful in music. Video games are a great visual source of content, and music is a great audible source of content. And I think those blend together really, really well. And they're starting to mix themselves together in a really, really, really cool and neat way.
And I would definitely agree. And I haven't played video games in a little while, but I know that you could. I could be wrong. I think this was possible starting to happen when I stopped, but being able to introduce or inject the music you choose to listen to into a video game as your soundtrack while you're playing it.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that are doing that recently, and I think like you just said, that's a really, really cool thing, being able to kind of implement your own playlist. And that's really cool. Another thing that I've seen all over Twitter recently, especially with the Fortnite craze and everybody playing Fortnite and all this, is that there's a lot of montages and clips and stuff like that that kids are putting out, and they're doing really great visual editing work and mixing it with hip hop music and really popular music. And I think that's a really, really neat thing. It shows versatility in this younger generation.
I think, and one thing I say about this younger generation, especially the younger children, and when I say younger children, I'm probably talking about anywhere from probably like about 7 to about 13. They are actually creating and controlling the market when it comes to music. And we might not realize it because, I've watched kids sit there and go on YouTube or be on Spotify or SoundCloud or and stuff like that. And it's like they're just looking for certain things and they have a very short attention span, but they're adding to the streams and then they share it. There was a young artist that I interviewed, and he said being in school while being an artist is the best marketing tool ever because when you're in the school, the students there want to support you. So they're sharing your link, everybody's listening to your music, and they're driving the numbers up. Where it wasn't like before, where your music had to be purchased to be listened to. The streams actually count for something.
I definitely think there's a huge shift in mindset, especially with the younger generation of people wanting to empower each other. So that's a really, really cool thing, and I'm on board with it. I mean, that's really definitely the vision that I think we want the world to go. Anyways, is empowering each other, loving one another, and appreciating each other's creativity. So I think the younger generation is really showing us a lot of really powerful and cool things. And you're right, they're so young. So in 10 years, 15 years, it's going to be incredible the types of content, especially with the progression of technology that we're going to see. It's going to be unreal.
Yes. Now, being an artist and you obviously um you were influenced by many different things with the type of music you make. Who would be some of your biggest influences for your new single and some of your most recent work?
That's a great question. So my most recent work, some of my biggest influences have been a lot of underground kind of indie alternative artists, people like Oliver Tree, who have just kind of formatted their own thing, or Joji Miller. These are names that I'm very familiar with, and if people aren't, they should definitely check them out. Great music. And I also take cadences from a lot of old school music. I definitely think that you need a good foundation of the classics, including classic rock and rhythm and blues and disco. And that foundation is going to give you the ability to really kind of broaden yourself in the music genres and push it to the limit.
Yeah, and I agree with you 1,000% on that one. I definitely believe if you are in the game, you should also be a student of the game, do your homework, build your foundation, understand, you know, the way everything gets put together. And just being a fan of everything because there's so much that you can pick up when you open your mind up to different sounds.
Yeah, you're totally right, and I think we've seen that in some recent really big albums. Even in recently in Juice World's album with a lot of rock and roll cadences. We had the Igor album last year with a lot of the old disco cadences, and I think we're definitely seeing, especially the weekend's new tracks and things like that. We're definitely seeing a really cool transition and cadence push back to some of the foundations of music, and that's really neat.
Yeah. And one of my most favorite blended songs was the Walk This Way with Run DMC.
Mm.
That that's like such a classic. And you know, growing up where I grew up, for some reason, in the time that I grew up, it was listening to that. You were an outsider listening to rock, listening to all the different genres besides hip hop. Was like, what are you doing? You're not listening to KRS-One and everybody else that was out then. And it was like, but you guys don't know what you're missing. Like you really don't, because this stuff is
Mhm.
awesome. It's freaking awesome. And I really want to get into your single that your PR person sent us,
Mhm.
which is Pop Right. Now, I wanted to, before we even play the song, before we even get into it, I want you to talk to me and the people and tell us what inspired you to write this particular song itself.
Mm, great question. Pop Right is it's a song that on the mixtape I wanted to express a duality system. So I really wanted people to have a feeling of reflecting on the situations today in the world, but I also wanted people to have some tracks to be able to relax to be able to really kind of just mellow out, not have to think about the reality of things right now, and rather reflect on things in the past that are really nice. And the track Pop Right, I think everybody can relate to a little bit. Essentially, I wrote it in, it essentially takes place, you're in a club having a great time with your friends, and you see somebody come in, and everything around you stops for a brief moment. The music kind of fades away. You stop paying attention to everything else because they've caught your eye. And from that moment on, you've just been fixated on this person. You go talk to them. You guys have a great time. But I think everybody can relate to at least once experiencing something that powerful and that cool, and that really fresh, kind of unique love or mysterious love that does exist in that moment. So the song Pop Right is encompassing that moment in and of itself.
That sounds pretty amazing. And, you know, just the way you describe the visual behind it, I can tell you that your music is just as powerful. So I want you, before I play the track, I just want you to introduce it, introduce yourself for the people one more time, and then just introduce the track for me.
Of course. Well, thank you very much. This is Hunter XO with WEMS Radio. You guys are going to be checking out the brand new single Pop Right off my mixtape King of No Castle Volume 1. Have fun and thanks.
Oh, what just happened? Here we go. What is going on?
So much heat, I need an AK.
Pop right, slide right, bust down all night. Ice ice, look nice. Hurt me, think twice. I got too much cash. Fuck that, bitch. I'm running lives. No clout, no need. Yeah, this shit my destiny. Pop right, slide right, bust down all night. Ice ice, look nice. Hurt me, think twice. I got too much cash. Fucked up, bitch. I'm running laps. No clout, no need. Yeah, yeah. This shit my destiny. Pop right, you like that? She got that booty, made me go mad. Lock tight, never had a love like you. Happen so fast. Pop right, slide right, bust down all night. Ice ice, look nice. Hurt me, think twice. I got too much cash. Fuck that, bitch. I'm running lives. No clout, no need. Yeah, this shit my destiny. You look so fine. I'ma smoke a cigarette if you don't mind. Hold me, baby, one time. So eyes, look at the sunshine. Pop right, side right, bust down all night. Ice ice, look nice. Hurt me, think twice. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, I can't wait to see the video. Like I really can't wait to see the video. Oh snap, we lost Mr. Hunter. Where did Mr. Hunter go? So while we're waiting for Mr. Hunter to come back, I just want to say that Hunter XO Pop Right was definitely a vibe in itself. It it expressed what you can do with music and your creative vibe if you just allow yourself to make the music that you want and be who you are. There is no need to follow what everybody else is putting out there and what everybody else is doing. It's totally unnecessary. Be yourself, make your own music. And we have a couple of more tracks that I want to play. So while we get into it, we're going to get back to what's going on real quick. Here we go. Prophet Radio. Make sure you tune in every week. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for the dope stuff, Prophet Radio. Yeah. my man Afro Jedi Dojo. You heard? Rah!
Who did you get with the roller? Ain't got no stuck like both flex when I ain't flex. When I ain't flex. Yeah. Who did you get with the Rolex? With the what? Stacks like both flex when I ain't flex. When I ain't flex. Yeah. Niggas they be hating cause the money is foreign, the women is foreign, the weed is foreign. Pussy shit that I spit is like cocaine for 'em. And I'm hot, don't nobody bring the propane to us. I'm straight floss, and there's nothing these niggas could do. Punching for kicks like I know Taekwondo, and I smoke by that. Oh, I bet you what you ain't a story yet, boy. There's no house. It's your nigga, you chop with that float in your boat, man. I'm high into the chart like I'm John Carter. Use raps like no books, I'm an no author. Go farther than a regular nigga. Even though mine was single, my boss a regular nigga. The game got bigger, controlling the lane, swerving the punchlines and hit them and brains of the niggas play action for it. It's too hard to get that ass. Who did you get nigga with the roll? Ain't got no stacks, get like both flex when I ain't flex. When I ain't flex. Yeah. Who did you get nigga with the Rolex? With the what? Stacks, get like both flex when I ain't flex. When I ain't flex.
Yeah. It's my man Cameron J. Gold chains, y'all.
Damn!
Network. Go watch, go rings. You can see I'm doing my damn thing. Gold chain, a new drop. I swear to God, I'm doing it like my pops. Go watch, go rings. You can see I'm doing my damn thing. Gold chain, a new drop. I swear to God, I'm doing it like my pops. When y'all was talking money, I was out here really getting that. Money in my eyes, you can see where my mental at. Somewhere on the island with the baddest out here living it. Niggas gonna talk either way, why I give a shit? I'm getting money any town, any city, nigga. Numbers here ain't enough, I need bigger figures. This is easy money, show you about the new world. Bentley parked the front, the color they call it blue pearl. Weighing down my neck with all these gold chains on. You niggas do it for the bitches, got the game wrong. Go and get the money, hoes always come with it. Can't call a pussy mine till I come in it. Turned you to a rich girl, now you're swagging right. You see me killing shit, welcome to the afterlife. Gold chain, gold watch, so I shine bright. I'm going in for the paper, get your mind right. Different from the mother niggas, dreams of some bigger figures. All we wanted to do is shine like the bigger niggas. Now I shine. Nigga, I shine. That's word to my pops. I shine. Yeah. I shine. Go watch, go rings. You can see I'm doing my damn thing. Gold chain, a new drop. I swear to God, I'm doing it like my pops. Go watch, go rings. You can see I'm doing my damn thing. Gold chain, a new drop. I swear to God, I'm doing it like my pops. Mr. Superfly, man, you know just how I get down. Stacks coming in, I can show you how to get down. From the Bronx, nigga, where money's over everything. New chain, new watch, I'm talking heavy bling. That's me outside, in that fly whip. I got your mind kidnapped, I'm talking hostage. She get that long neck, like an ostrich. This a one of one, you couldn't cap this. Shorty hit my ear, asked me about my net worth. Showed her my account, she screaming that I had her. This that sexy money, dollar takes her clothes off. Post you on the gram just to piss these other hoes off. I got the vibes right, counting this paper. Doing what I want, never mind all the haters. Swimming through these chicks, just like a jet ski. This is what you want, nigga, this was success breeze. The deeper we go, the bigger we get. The world is ours, and we get it legit. Still grinding on them, still shining on them. I shine, nigga. I shine. That's
Cam
on
and
everything.
Jay,
I shine.
let's get it, y'all.
Yeah.
Make sure you cop that.
Gold watch, gold rings. You can see I'm doing my damn thing. Gold chain, a new drop. I swear to God, I'm doing it like my pops. Gold watch, gold rings. You can see I'm doing my damn thing. Gold chain, a new drop. I swear to God, I'm doing it like my pops.
Yeah. That was your boy Cameron J. Now we about to get into this fame life. It's that time for the low riders, 6-4 life. Fame life. Brooklyn.
Shit. For Nipsey, man. Yeah.
Prophet Radio.
Aces.
Prophet Pete.
Hey.
We here.
That's cool.
Catch me through your city, low riding hydraulics, so violent, bouncing alpines, bumping that biggie, ugly face, no smiling, cops profiling. They ain't got no knowledge. Wanna know who the fuck is he? Moving at a low mileage by the college, fuck class, hopping, catch your footing, girl, cause I ain't stopping. We're rolling up the smoke, spokes on Murder She Wrote. We rolling like mobsters, even lights can't stop us. Ain't stand through they binoculars, they follow us. Hearts keep popping up, we too cool and popular. My views more ocular, my mood more opera, dramatic when I'm famous. I don't like to deal with static. Get your cable disconnected. Want the prize? Well, shit, you been selected. Brooklyn resurrected. Pull up to your illest section, sitting in the killer section. Get digested by my intestines. Send your friend a message. Hey. Yeah, but I'm just cruising down the street in my 6'4". Cruising down the street in my 6'4". Cruising down the street
in my 6'4".
jacking the bitches, slagging the hoes. Went to the park to get the scoop. Knuckleheads out there, cold shooting some hook. I said, cruising down the street in my 6'4". Cruising down the street in my 6'4". Soft top on a hard block, all black, snapback, shot town, white socks, bougie with the groupies like. I don't like thoughts, type of nigga shoot a 3 and 10. Nice shot, wheels never stop, white walls. Ride like we don't like laws. She in the sundress like she don't like drawers. In the driveway, grandma say turn down the fucking noise. Pulled up to the park, about to fuck with my fucking boys. Car sitting sideways, how I parked it. Fire sparking, like we some arsons. We got me coughing. Cypher done back in the front seat, that's my office. Moving in maneuvers, Coronas in the cooler. It's Long Beach, it get deep like scuba. More fish in the sea. Impalas hold my dollar, smoke scholars, roll proper. Oh, that's your chick shit, I had no knowledge. Hey, bitch, better wait, we roll by us. Cruising down the street in my 6'4". Cruising down the street in my 6'4". Cruising down the street in my 6'4". Jacking the bitches, slapping the hoes. Went to the park to get the scoop. Knuckleheads out there, cold shooting some hook. I said, cruising down the street in my 6'4". Cruising down the street in my 6'4". Now bounce. Yeah. 6'4", cruising. Where they at though? 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 Where they at? Shit. Just cruising down the street in my 6'4". Cruising down the street in my 6'4". Cruising down the street in my 6'4".
Don't fucking touch my inside! One thing your life! Break with the likes of you! Ha! Red leather! Red leather!